Welcome, everybody. There's actually no everybody. Last week, we did this recording and we have not been able to fix it. So I'm coming in here to re-record what we did on February 15th, just so that we have an actual recording for it. And I apologize for the people that were on the call. It just didn't take the audio portion of it. So we're going to get started. Goal setting. Who am I? My name is Maria Bereket, and I'm a small business marketing strategist. I've been doing this since these free webinars since December. It started off as goal setting, and it's turned into just small business digital marketing because the tools all kind of go together. And you can go ahead and download the resources. If you're registered, you should get them from me via email. So don't worry about that. The agenda today, we're going to review the goals again. We're going to continue mapping the buyer's journey. Today, we're going to go through the research part of the process. So last time we talked about awareness, how buyers find you and how they discover where you are. And today, we're really going to go through that considering and evaluating process once you're kind of on their radar. And then we're going to review the weekly questions. And one of them is very applicable to the research process. So let's jump in. These are the small business goal setting worksheets. There's 5 in all, but these are the 2 main things. You have your core principles and your one-page business plan. I encourage you to fill them out. If you need help with them, give me a call. It's hard. It's hard for me to do because you got to stick to the time and turn off your phone and get it done. It has to do with setting big goals. And in order to have a big goal, you have to do the one-page business plan. And in order to get to the big goal, all of these things are really, really hard. And if it's not big enough, you're never going to get there. So just having, I want to sell a lot of stuff is not the greatest big goal to have. You need to kind of go through each thing and determine that. So what we're doing right now is we're separating between the customer journey and the customer experience. What does that mean and why is it different, right? Because we're going to talk about the customer journey. So the customer journey is where we map out each touch point that a customer has. So a touch point is anything I do, any click I make, anything I read, any process that I go through to discover a business that can help me solve a problem that I have, right? A customer experience, on the other hand, is how I feel about these touch points, what my perception is. You know, we go into everything wanting something. So, you know, as you can see on that line, and there's emojis and we're happy and we're sad and we're confused. This is basically the experience part of it, right? The journey part of it is where I go. The experience part of it is what I'm feeling as a buyer. And we're going to measure that. You're going to go through and you're going to map out all of your content. That's really the main reason that you want to do it. You want to map out your content. You want to get a customer-centric team in place to let everybody know. And the reason that you want the experience is the big goal for every business is we want people to talk about us, and we want them to talk about us positively, not negatively. You don't want people to walk away and not talk about you, because that's how you reduce your marketing costs, because then people are inbound and calling you. So this is a great image for the buyer's journey. It's kind of how we feel. And I'm going to kind of go through everything this person is thinking. You know, very first part of the process is determining that you need something. You know, you have a problem, your tooth hurts, you're hungry, you want a hamburger, and that's the very first step. Then you want to know more information. We're a very empowered economy now. We have information at our fingertips, and we go to Google. That's pretty much where we go. And then as we're considering, which is what we're going to talk about today, we look to see how these touch points affect us. You know, if the websites are too slow, or there's not enough information, or it's, you know, too overwhelming and too confusing. And then we're going to narrow it down. We're going to get a short list. Alexa, give me the most recent reviews, right? That's how it kind of works. And then you decide to make that purchase. So you have your short list, you go in. How is that experience happening? Did they call you back? Are you going to be able to go in? Can you do it online? What's going on? And then once you bought it, this is another confusing part for a lot of consumers. They don't really know how to put it together or what to do next. Are you going to reach out to me? Are you going to even let me know that you appreciate my business? So this is a very important thing because this is our goal, right? We want people to be happy and we want them to talk about us. So that's kind of how the buyer's journey looks in terms of a head of a consumer. It's generally a linear path, right? Awareness, research, purchase, experience, advocacy. I make it a circle, and I do that for a reason because I want it to circle back so that I don't have to put more money into my marketing, right? If I have a good strategy in place, if I know what I need to do every single year, I should have my existing customers talk about me enough so that I can get new customers. And that's really the goal here. So last week we talked about awareness. Awareness is two things. First of all, I have a problem, I'm a buyer, and then also I have to become aware of you. I don't just find your website. I have to know that you're there. And then today we're going to talk about the research and discovery process, and that's all related to content, right? This is the worksheet that we're using right now. It's just a basic phase one awareness and consideration. It's also called research. And we're going to talk about how we go through this process. So you can download that at the website. So what is the buyer thinking at this stage? So I have a problem. I've already defined it. I know what it is, or I have an opportunity. Maybe I have some extra money and I want to go on a vacation. Maybe it's Taco Tuesday and I just realized it and now I'm trying to find a great new taco restaurant to go to. Or we just got approved on a house, and so now I'm going to need furniture and art and all sorts of things. So we've already defined that. Now I'm researching. Now I'm going online and I want to find businesses that can help me solve my problem, right? And we want the best solution for our problem. Google says that's one of the number one search features is the best burger, the best taco place, the best dentist, the best furniture company. So we as a buyer at this point are focused on solutions. So your content needs to be solving the problems for the customer, right? Buyers are collecting a tremendous amount of information. This is so different than it was 10 years ago, right? Even 5 years ago. So before we had the internet with the computer, but 2007, iPhones were introduced and the smartphone kind of took over. And now we want it immediately. We want it before we go to bed and when we're sitting in a restaurant. So we want to collect a lot of information before we make a decision. And that can take minutes in today's world, right? It's really important that you think about this because this stage in the research, our emotions are kind of high. And they're high because we just decide, I have a problem, right? Or I have an opportunity. I'm going on vacation and I'm so excited and I'm going to jump in and I want to do it. So, and I don't have a lot of facts. So, right? My facts are low. So I need to find the facts to make the decision to justify what it is that I'm going to do. So this is where the content comes in. So here's kind of the content version of the buyer's journey. And we see this word of mouth. We talked about it last week. Word of mouth is sort of a myth because we as consumers take online reviews just as much as we do our own family and friends, and sometimes more so. So you need to plot this out and you need to figure out they have a problem. What kind of information do they need to make a decision, to call me, to contact me, right? And we get on your mailing lists and then you're sending out direct mail, or maybe you're sending out direct mail to your community if you're a realtor and you're just sending it out to anyone in the neighborhood. And this is where you're really going to begin to analyze that because the customer's goal is to collect all this stuff and then they're going to make a decision. So if you're not putting out a lot of stuff, if you're not touching on all of these areas, if your website's not great, if you're not doing all sorts of blogs and things like that, there's just no way that the buyer can find you, right? You want to make them from a stranger into a client, and a client who's going to refer you to other clients. So this portion takes the longest. There's a whole process that you go through when you map out that journey as a business to determine what have you been putting out, what's popular, what do people like, what they don't like, what are your competitors putting out. There's nothing wrong with seeing what they're doing and then mirroring it, right? And now you have to look at your employees and you have to say, who are the experts in this area? So even people in the shipping department have a grasp of what kind of information people would need. You know, they're looking at the product and they're saying, you know, we really should slip in a card that explains a little bit better how to do this or that. And it is a team project to map out content. It's also a team project to produce the content. I'm not saying that everyone in your staff can be posting and tweeting, but you can sit down as a team and you can determine who could help you out and who could write a blog or who could do this or who could do that. Even just taking pictures of the shipping department is sometimes really exciting. So research and consideration. What are they thinking and feeling? Does this business know how to solve my unique problem? So unique. I'm a buyer. I feel like I'm the most unique person in the world. How do I know if I really need to have all of these features and options to solve my unique problem, right? So it's not just cars. You can go in and you can register a gym. You can, you know, purchase things that, you know, do I want this one or that one? Do I need to get insurance on it? What is it and what's important for me? And then we want to know at this stage what other people are saying. We're going to compare you to other companies. So if you're not maintaining your Yelp account and it's important to your business and there are other people using it, then you need to consider looking at that. And which companies do I like and trust the most? I'm making a short list here. So I started off with maybe 10. Now I have 3, and I'm only going to call 2, and then I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy from someone, right? Now I have to decide. I have to contact you in some way. So what does contact mean? Maybe I'll send you an email. Maybe I'll text you or do some kind of a chat to get clarification. Maybe I'll call you. Maybe I'll schedule a tour. If you have a program in a school or something like that and I want to see what's going on, maybe I just want to meet the face behind the place I'm going to buy online. So it's important that you do that. And then how do I know my next step? So look at your business, your website, all of the process to determine, do these people really know what the next step is? What happens when they go online? Is it clear? Can they figure it out, right? Customer decisions at this point are critical to your business success. So if you don't have people calling you, this is part of that problem. Because when I make contact as a buyer, I am already decided to do business with you. And we're going to talk about this next week because the decision process isn't over the minute I reach out to you. But I'm 57% minimally decided that I'm going to go with you. That's why I called you. That's why I walked in the door. That's why I emailed you, why I chatted with you. I like you, and I want you to make me feel good about my decision. And so this is a very critical thing to do, right? You're on that short list. Now, when you look at that worksheet, this is where all the content types go, right? So you're determining what it is that they need to know and what their behavior is. You know, are they willy-nilly going around and looking all over the place? So with restaurants, we know most people go to Yelp and they check the reviews. So that's a major part of that process. So you have to figure out what it is that they want. What pictures do they need? What information are you trying to get? And then, you know, work with your SEO people and figure out the rest of the process. So this is really where this aspect comes from. Every week we reflect, because without reflection, you cannot possibly change. And as a leader of your business, you need to take time to do this. So what types of content and materials do my customers need so that they will like and trust me enough to solve their problem? You have to think about that. So you have to review everything that you have. You have to really decide if it's worth it or not. Just because you have a whole box of something doesn't mean that that's really the best thing to do. And then the second part of the reflection is, now that you know what you need, who on the team can help you to do that? You as the business owner shouldn't be doing everything because you don't do everything. Content comes together as a team process. It's all part of this goal setting process. It's very, very important. So to keep it slow, one critical weekly goal can help you here. And we go through these every week. How many new emails did you add to your list? You need to know this information. What were your total sales for the week? You should know that. Your employees should know that. You don't have to know exactly down to the last dollar, but you need to know what's selling and what's not selling. Did every employee know about your promotion or your Facebook ad? It amazes me how many people work together and they don't know what's going on, right? It's very bad. How many new fans did you add this week? This is on your Facebook account or your Twitter account or your Instagram account, wherever you have that social platform. You need to know, are my counts going up? It's just as good as sales, right? Now, here's that critical question. What was your most popular piece of content this week? First of all, you need to know this every single week because the most popular piece of content can tell you things about what it is that you're doing that other things can't. And look at it and see if there's a solution in there. Are we tapping into something that somebody else isn't doing? Because you want to set yourself apart. You are a unique business as much as they have a unique problem to solve. And you really need to keep that in mind. Who is your most engaged follower? It's very important. What do you do about that person, right? How are you improving customer service? These are things that should be talked about, and you could even add to that our customer experience. In going through this process of the buyer's journey, that's basically what you're doing. So next week, we're going to talk about the purchase process. It's human and non-human, and it's not always decided. So even if I come in, checkbook in hand, ready to go, even if I'm on your website, the cart is full, my credit card's in there, it doesn't mean I'm going to shoot and do it. Something can change your mind, and that's what we're going to talk about next week. So again, I apologize that I had to record this for the audio last week, but I'm going to get this up on the website, and I hope to see you again. And I encourage you to share.